gentlemen, start your...
All right, welcome to the Jack Dodsons Racing Insider News with Jack Dodson, Scott Allen, and Juicy Joe's not here tonight.
Juicy Joe did not make it tonight, but I'm going to tell you what. Payback is coming. And I hope he's listening because he said he was. Payback's coming. That little video you put out there, I'm gonna get you for it. I'm gonna get you.
Go check Joe's Facebook page, see the video. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, it's not really that funny. Someday I'm gonna have to sit down and explain what the whole deal was. But anyway, I won't do it today. Oh, he's already hit you up already?
Yeah, he said he can't find the link.
Oh, well, I'm sorry. Well, that's strike one. So anyway, good weekend of racing this past weekend. Of course, we had the NASCAR banquet Friday night, which was, I mean, it was really good. I don't know if you watched it.
I watched I watched the different introductions. I didn't get to watch the whole thing.
I think I stayed up long enough to watch it all the way through Jeff Gordon's speech and the tribute they did to him and everything. And I tell you, that little montage they did with all the chase drivers talking to Jeff, and that one Dale Earnhardt Jr. did. I don't know if did you see the one he did?
I'm drawing a blank.
He's sitting there and he said, "Jeff, I'll always remember when you brought your son, brought him to the shop and put him in your car and let him sit in your car and everything." And somebody called, "No, no, 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 no!" And he turned around and looked. He said, "What?" "Oh, that was Chase Elliott getting fitted for his seat."
Oh yeah, I did see that. That was pretty funny.
And then of course Jeff had a lot. You know, he got very emotional, of course, especially when Tom Cruise come out.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had always heard that him and Tom Cruise were really close friends.
Well, they are.
And I just,
well, it's all Rick Hendrick put that deal together because Rick is the one that made Days of Thunder.
Yeah, and they've turned into be real good friends, and that was pretty.
And Tom is actually pretty nice. I met him at Richmond when he did that autobiography about Rick Hendrick and the teams and that stuff there a few years ago, and he was actually really nice. I was quite surprised.
Yeah, it was really that was probably the highlight for me to watch that, and. But anyway, that was Friday night, and then of course Saturday, I attended the arena races in Richmond. Cody Carlton stunk up the show again.
You know what? I mean, the way it looks, I don't know they got anybody right now that can dethrone him. Really,
I tell you right now, the top three up there that day, and I understand Scott Perlman is not going to be racing. That was a one-time deal for Scott so far this year, but. Basically, the fastest cars out there were Cody, Scott Perlman, and Camden Testerman. Them three were the
Medeiros.
Medeiros is good.
He's right. He's close.
And the 4 car, Brad Davis.
Yeah,
he was pretty decent.
I don't know who that is. I know the car. The car's been around for a good while, and it's been fast. So,
but I was, the car count there was not what I'd like to see it be. I know there was. Supposedly 2 or 3 cars that were there the week before didn't come back this week, and then he had a couple new ones come this week. So maybe by the time the year turns,
everybody be
ready to go. But I don't know. But it was pretty decent racing. I did sit down there and watch the youth race. Olivia Florian.
I see she came back,
and she just,
stunk show up.
Well, I don't know how. You probably know better than I do. How many of those guys in those races, those young people? I don't know how well you kept up with it, but there's a lot of young guys in there.
It's fun. That's a fun series to watch.
But they probably don't have the experience this girl's got.
No.
And she showed that her experience was.
And her brother won the Pro 6 class at Langley Speedway this year, Landon Florian. Her other brother, her oldest brother, he's won several races and championships. Scott drove for her dad for a while. They have a huge knowledge of arena. He was an official for a while. Yeah, if you want to know something, he's definitely a guy, and he doesn't give that information away. He will help you, but he's not going to just tell you what to do.
But she was definitely the class of that race. I mean, like with Cody, there was just nobody even in the same ballpark with her. I mean, the only thing that kept the race close was they kept having cautions. Right. That was the only thing that kept it close, and other than that, she was flat ahead of everybody.
Yeah, I mean, the one car last year was pretty good, but the younger brother is driving this year, so it's he doesn't have the experience the older brother did.
Well, but still, there's a lot of. It seemed like a lot of new kids there to me. And of course, you may know them and I don't, but it seemed like a lot of new guys in the group. And then Sunday they had the Snowball Derby. Of course, they had the Snowflake on Saturday. John Hunter Nemechek won the Snowflake. I forget who finished. Chase Elliott finished second in the Snowflake, and Kinsey Rustin finished fourth.
Yeah,
that was
did
pretty
really
good.
well.
But then and we're going to have fun tonight with Billy Ballou. Because I got a feeling
is he last?
Huh? Yeah, he's last. Okay. And I got a feeling he is not happy because I read one of his things that he said.
One of his quotes?
About it.
Billy's one of those guys that kind of tells you what's on his mind.
Well, him and Finch were in on the car that was the fastest car in qualifying and got disqualified.
Because the distance between the
wheels, the
wheel and the body.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was the right rear. I'm assuming the right rear, but
well, anyway, that didn't go over good. And then they win the race and get disqualified.
Yeah, there was a maximum of 58% left side weight, and had 58.3.
And Ricky Brooks, the official down at Five Flags, I can't wait to get Lenny Pataki back too, because I was going to call him tonight too, but I never got around to getting a hold of him. Find out what he thought about all that stuff. It evidently was very interesting.
But I don't think Christopher Bell was the only car that was DQ'd in qualifying. There was somebody else was too.
Oh, I
can't remember who it was now, but there was two of them. I thought I could be wrong, but I thought it was two.
I was kind of keeping a close eye on Christopher Bell because he had the Phoenix Construction. He had Billy Ballou backing him.
And driving for Kyle Busch, that's Kyle Busch Motorsports car. And Christopher Bell, obviously probably mostly known for the great run that he did in
Eldora.
Yeah, but the truck he was in was it was a back running car. It was not even a mid running truck. I mean, this kid took a 40th place truck and ran second with it.
So I tried to keep up with it all day Sunday. Riding up and down the road, I tried my best to keep up with the Snowball because it evidently was really getting good, and we'll really get the bottom line on it when we get Billy Ballou on here. I can tell you that before we get started. And Billy's a great guy, and I hate to see that happen to him, but
that kid's got a bright future though.
Oh yeah, he's way out there.
But I don't remember the rundown now, but there was a lot of big names, the guys that we know that and this race has got to be a big deal when you got somebody that really does no business in the race. Chase Elliott, that's got a full-time Sprint Cup Series race career ahead of him, is running in it.
Yeah. And says he's going to run in again next year if he has options. He's going to run in next year too.
And I tell you, another good little racer is Nemechek. I mean, this kid is they have some okay equipment that's done really well in that truck. And I know they're pouring everything they can into it, or Joe is. But you know what? I tell you what, so far as when we talk about Chase Elliott and looking forward to next year, I can't wait to see him and Ryan Blaney run for the Rookie of the Year. I tell you right now, I would have to say my money's on Ryan.
Oh yeah, he's got a little bit more.
He's done
better with his Cup starts than he.
Of course, he's got a few more Cup starts, but Ryan Blaney's done really well, honestly.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that works out.
I hope they play that out. Play it up too.
I know the 24 and some other teams are headed to Homestead Monday for a test. That'll be the first time, well, not the first time he's been in the car, but it's the first time he's worked with the whole 24 crew in a full-blown test. And I think this is the group that's going to be with the team And they got a test coming up at Richmond after the first of the year. They've got a test coming up at, I think he said Charlotte with him. They're going to run a couple tests. So I'd be interested to see. I want to be there for that. And
Clayton just made a comment on your video. Your fan watcher. He's laughing out loud. Oh my God, he just peed himself a little. That's priceless. Bo said he loves the place. He doesn't know the inside joke.
yeah. Well, Clayton, don't get on that list.
I think we're all on the list, Clayton. Don't worry about it.
Don't get on that list. Don't join Joe by any stretch of the imagination at all. East Carolina had a big race this past weekend. The local guys did pretty decent down there.
Yeah, I don't know who won.
Deke McCaskill.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen the running order for that. So.
I haven't seen the full rundown of it. I know Deke McCaskill won. I think Butterbean finished 10th.
Mm.
And Connor Hall did pretty good.
Yeah, Connor was there.
Casey White tore his car up pretty bad.
Oh, really?
And I heard of a couple other guys that race down there that we know.
And then we gotta give a shout out to Old Dominion, or I guess Dominion Speedway.
Dominion
right?
Speedway.
They had their first test Friday or Saturday and Sunday, I think. I thought it was just Saturday, but I thought I seen some people posting some videos Sunday, which it could have been left over from Saturday. But they had a lot of cars, a lot of Legends showed up out there because they're going to have a big Legends, NX affiliation. So I knew a couple. Tyler Hughes was out there, and Weedy. They were out there at Dominion Speedway. And that's a beautiful place. It's a big track. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
And from what I've read in the last couple of days, that everybody liked the track.
Mm.
So that was. I guess they're getting it right. I understand there's going to be one more test up there before
the first of the year.
Yeah, before the first of the year, there's going to be one more test. And I think they're doing it just basically to see what kind of kinks they got to work out of it. But
yeah,
a lot of late models. I heard there was a lot of late models up there that did go to
somewhere it was like 50 or 60
that didn't go to East Carolina but went up there and tested. So
I mean, that's got to be promising to have that just to test.
Yeah,
not much less.
It was pretty interesting. And anyway,
and I liked the article. It was funny. I wanted, when we got Squirrel on, I wanted to know where he got Squirrel from.
Oh, you saw the article about it.
So the article, that was really cool to see how Squirrel got his name, because honestly, Dean is not. He doesn't look like a Dean.
No, he don't. He does look like a squirrel.
Yeah.
But I tried to work that out this week too. But this is they're getting ready for the test. This is also
his off time.
No, this is also their Christmas party coming up. The different shops had their Christmas parties. I think the 48 and 88 had theirs today. I think the 524 has theirs tomorrow. Then the whole Hendrick organization has theirs on Friday night. And then Sunday night they all leave to go to Homestead to test. Well, a bunch of them leave to go to Homestead to test. So never ends. I mean, there is no time off. So he's been busy this week. So it's pretty interesting stuff. I didn't see a whole lot of news this week about anything. I guess, being right now, it's kind of
quiet.
Downtime on everything right now.
Yeah, it's kind of quiet. I didn't see much, except that Brian France is like the most influential person, which I would say, yeah. In NASCAR, I mean, there's been some moving around.
Did you see Logano the other night? I mean, not Logano. Who was it? Oh, it was Kansas. Kansas says.
Call from 706.
All right, well, our first guest is Ahnna Parkhurst.
04.
Hello, how are you doing tonight, Miss Parkhurst?
Hey, I'm good.
I'm glad you're there. We were glad we finally got a hold of you. I've been trying for a long time.
Glad you got a hold of me too.
Well, a lot of people around here probably don't know a whole lot about you. I mean, I've kept up with you a little bit, but give us a rundown on how you got started in racing and how you got to where you are today.
Well, we got started I went to my first NASCAR race in 2009, and I kind of was like, hey, that would be something cool if I wanted to do that. And so I kind of just went with it for a little while and decided that was something I wanted to do. And then when I was at a NASCAR race when I was 13, Richard Childress asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, and I told him I wanted to be a race car driver. So he then went on to call my dad and say, hey, like, we're looking to develop a girl. What do you think about it? What do you think about Ahnna driving? And my dad asked my mom, and we were all cool with it. So then we went on to get go-karts, and I ran those for a year, and now we're in the late models, and I just ended my first full year in late models, so it's been good.
So you're running the dirt late models for Dillon's, right? For the Dillon organization, right?
Yes, sir. Right now I'm running under Team Dillon Racing, so we'll dirt late models this full year, and then we'll do them next year too. So looking forward to it.
So where all do you race at, and how was your season?
We race all over the Southeast. We're down at Talladega Short Track, some Modoc Speedway in South Carolina, Swainsboro, Boyd's, just all over the place. And our season was pretty good this year. For my first full year, I'm pretty happy with it. Like, for example, I went to Talladega for the NASCAR weekend in May, and I didn't make either show. And then we went back for NASCAR weekend in October, and I qualified 6th and 9th both nights and finished 7th both nights. So we had a big jump from May to October. So we got good towards the end of the year, and I'm really looking forward to next year.
So this was your first year in the dirt late models. What have you learned, and are you prepared to make that step to the asphalt?
Yes, sir. I've learned a lot, especially going to a lot of different racetracks like we do. I think it helped me a lot more than if we had just stayed at one. Mm-hmm. Like, I learned a lot of places where they're wide open and you really got to have a handle on your car and really throwing it sideways. And then I've ran at places that are a lot more like asphalt, where it's kind of roll off the gas and roll into the brake and back on the gas and really careful with how you're turning your hand. So I think that's helped us a lot. And I think both of those, learning kind of car control all over, will help me a lot when I go to asphalt. So I'm ready for that, but I'm looking forward to another year of dirt this year.
So who's your crew chief? Is this family members, or do you guys have somebody that's working on it for you?
Well, it depends on where we are, really, because Team Dillon Racing, of course, Ty and Shane and Austin and Ryan and all them over there, they help us out a lot. So it just depends. A lot of times we're there with them, and Ryan Gifford helps me a lot, does a lot of my setups, and then when we're back at home, it's just me, Dad, and then a 14-year-old boy we're good friends with. So the three of us go on to the racetrack every weekend, and that's pretty much it. So mostly Dad and Shane and Ryan are over there running the setups and stuff, and then we have Andrew, the 14-year-old, helping us out working on the car. So we got a good bit of people depending on where we are, but I always got somebody to help me, so it's pretty good.
So who helps you so far as driving wise to get when you show up to a new racetrack and you know things, you know, every racetrack's a little different. Who helps you with the learning curve there?
Ryan Gifford, he helps me the most. He ran that K&N stuff, and he's ran a few NASCAR races, and his big thing is dirt. So he works for Team Dillon Racing. He helps me out a lot. He kind of understands my driving, I think, the most out of everyone, and he's kind of came from the same way, having to learn, and he goes to a lot of the same places I do, so it's easy to call him up and ask him and stuff like that. So he's probably the most help to me because we kind of have the same style, and he knows kind of the best way to teach me out of everyone I've really talked to.
So how old are you now?
I'm 15 now. I turned 15 in August.
So you started 2 years ago driving?
Yes, sir. My first go-kart race was June 8th of 2013. So that was my first, and then we ran the go-karts until November 14th, and we got the late model, or really started running the late model about September of 14. So. Now,
how intimidated were you about the late model?
Sir?
How intimidated were you the first time you got in the late model, or when you guys started talking about it?
Well, when we first started talking about it, I was kind of like, it'll be kind of easy because until about 2013, I hadn't really been involved in racing that much. Like, no one in my family has raced before, and so we weren't all that into it. So I thought, like, how different could it be driving a go-kart and driving a late model? And I guess to boost my confidence, some people decided to tell me that it would be just like driving my go-kart. So I was like, I'm going to be fine. And I went out there my first time and was not fine. So after that, it got a little intimidating when I realized it wasn't as easy as everybody had said it was. But after my first few races, it didn't bother me at all. So it doesn't bother me now. And once I got over it, I was fine.
That's funny. So what was it like to have Richard Childress want to invest in you? I mean, that's a pretty big. I mean, you don't get much higher in NASCAR in general. To have somebody like that to say, hey, we want to develop you and bring you up and give you an opportunity, that's a pretty big deal. I mean, heck, I'd probably grow my hair out and see if I could pull that off.
Yeah, sir, that one meant a lot to me because I know how many people are trying for an opportunity like that, how many people would love an opportunity like that. And just to think that, like, he likes me enough and cares for me enough that he wants to give me that opportunity, that means a lot because I know how many other people and other kids that would love to have it. So I know I'm blessed to have it, and I'm going to take it and use it to the best of my ability. So I'm very thankful for it.
Now, do you get any driving tips from Mike Dillon?
Oh, gosh. Yes, sir.
Well, I heard he might not be the best one to get some tips from.
It's just, he is so enthusiastic. So we'll be at the racetrack, and the second I get out of the car, he wants to be the first one to talk to me. He wants to be the first one to do this. And he'll talk to me, and then he'll let me walk away, and then he'll be like, oh, wait, and this too. And he's really helpful, though. He may give me a lot of information and a lot of information quickly, but he's really helpful.
Yeah, he's on the chip all the time.
So how much time does Mike and Austin and Ty spend with the dirt cars with you guys when you go racing? How much time do they spend with you?
They spend just about as much as they can, but our schedules conflict a ton with the boys running Cup and Nationwide, and then me running the dirt stuff. It's always the same weekend, so that's why we try to make it out to Talladega on NASCAR weekends when they're there and close by and they can come over. And then sometimes when we're running like a special show, like a Tuesday night or something, they'll be there and stuff like that. But as far as actually being there, not much just because of their schedules, but I do talk to them a good bit before or text them if I need something, and they're always helpful. So not as much being there, but they're always, I guess, there to help. So
as you look at it right now, I mean, you say you're going dirt racing next year, you're going to be back in the late model next year. What is your projection for down the road? Where do you want to be and where do you want to go down the road?
I eventually do want to run NASCAR and hopefully run Cup one day, but I'm really liking the dirt right now, so I definitely want to do another full year or two of that, and then maybe move up to asphalt late models or something like that. But I kind of want to run each level. I don't just want to take like a jump from asphalt late models to like a Nationwide car or something. I want to run like the asphalt late models and maybe run some ARCA or something, and then run a truck and then a Xfinity car and then a Cup car. Like I want to work my way up and be successful in each level and not take a crazy jump from one to the next. So
you know,
that's what I'm looking forward to, and hopefully one day that can take me to my Cup future. What I want to do.
You say that, but you know, the first time somebody comes up and says, "Hey, you want to run this truck?" It's gonna be hard to say no.
Yeah, I've thought about that. I know that's what I want to do is work my way up and be successful in each level. But I feel like exactly what you said. If somebody was like, "Hey, you want to come run truck this weekend?" I'd be like, "All right, pack the bags, everybody in the car, let's go." So
yeah, I mean,
as much as I say I want to, I'm sure I'd take the opportunity if it ever came that way early enough.
Yeah, I mean, I respect your plan, and I kind of contribute to Chris Buescher. He kind of said the same thing, that he didn't want to go to Cup next year. He would like to just run Xfinity one more year, and I respect him for that.
Yeah, so I just kind of want to. I don't know if I deserve as much to just take like a big old jump like that, even though the opportunity is there. I kind of want to be able to prove my way in each one, and not give people that opportunity to say, well, hey, she just got lucky and stuff. I want to be able to kind of prove that, hey, like, I was blessed with the opportunity, but I also deserve it too. So I want to be able to have my opportunity in a lot of different levels to prove that.
How much time do you, or how much of the Richard Childress development program, how much time do you spend working with them as far as trying to develop your career and helping you along?
As far as the side with them, is they just provide me with like some of my racing stuff, and then Shane McDowell and Ryan Gifford and all the crew stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we kind of just go run, and then I have Shane and them always helping me and stuff like that, and then Austin and Ty always giving their input and stuff like that. So the development deal is just kind of run as much as we can and make as many laps as we can and just improve every time we go out. So it's not as much right now as them, like, trying different stuff and pushing different stuff as it is just running a lot of races and running a lot of laps and just improving every time and calling that our little development. So I'm sure sometime either next year or the year after we're going to start trying some different stuff, and we'll test some asphalt stuff here and there and see how that goes and practice some of that and start developing my asphalt side. But right now it's just running as much on dirt as we can and improving as much as we can every week.
In 2016 coming up, what you say you're going back to dirt? What are your plans, or is your schedule set for where you're going to be racing for next year, or do you do that basically as the year rolls along?
Yeah, we usually do it as the year rolls along. Like at the beginning of the month, my dad and I sit down and we talk to Shane and decide what we're going to run and where we're going to run. So as far right now, my first race for 2016 will be the Ice Bowl at Talladega. So we'll run that at the beginning of January, and then we go run some big shows in February and stuff like that. So that's all we got right now, but you can check my Twitter at Ahnna Parkhurst, and my Facebook is also Ahnna Parkhurst, and that'll be my schedule to be on there every month, so you can easily see where we're going. But it'll just be the stuff we ran this year, kind of all over the Southeast, and so I'm looking forward to it.
So how far up do you go, and on the East Coast, do you come up in the Virginia area and do any racing up this way?
We don't, but I've heard a lot about we didn't in 2015, but I've heard a lot about tracks up there, and I always hear, like, you'll like this place and you'll like this place, so I think we'll probably venture out a little bit more this year. I don't know how excited Dad is about the drives, but I want to go to Mississippi this year for a few tracks over there and stuff like that, so if I can talk Dad into the 6-hour drive, maybe we can go, but I got to play my cards at the beginning of the
year. You got to do the right thing and do what Dad says. Now, I'm gonna ask you a question that's probably one that we ask a lot of the younger people that come on the show. Are you still in the school, and are you still looking at what are you looking to do as far as off the racetrack? What kind of a career, or what are you looking to do off the racetrack?
Well, if one day, like, the whole racing thing didn't work out for me, I kind of want to go into, like, management of some kind or marketing of some kind is what I've been thinking about, so.
Well, that'd be good.
Something like that. Something where I can be interacting with a lot of people and stuff, so. That's what I'd want to do if the racing didn't work.
Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna say it for a 15-year-old, you are definitely way above the game, and you sound very professional. You handle the questions and stuff really well, and I'm hoping you do really well, and I hope you get up this way so we can have a chance to see you.
Well, thank you. I'm hoping I get up there too.
Well,
hopefully Dad's gonna let us.
Well, I'm not gonna say nothing about Dad. You know that Dad has to make those calls, but. Anyway, well, we appreciate your time tonight. We're going to let you get back to what you were doing, but we thank you for that little bit of time you gave us, and
thank your sponsors.
Hopefully we'll get you back on here real soon. So go ahead and thank your sponsors or anybody you want to thank while you got an opportunity.
All right. Well, first of all, thank y'all for having me. And second, I'd like to thank everyone at RCR and at Team Dillon Racing, and my mom and dad, and my sister. And then TGen for starting the Lori'sFun.org, which is a website where people can go and donate money in honor of my mom, who's been battling with cancer. They can donate in honor of her, and it'll go towards the cancer research at TGen. And then I'd also like to thank Bad Boy Buggies, Hunt Brothers Pizza, Morley, Arai, Sparko. There's so many, I gotta rattle them off.
Go ahead.
I think I've covered it.
Okay.
I think I'm good.
Well, we appreciate it, and hopefully when the season gets started, we get you back on here and keep up with you during the year, because I'd really like to know what you got going on.
All right, sounds good. Anytime. We'll be glad to call in.
All right, well, we appreciate it. Thank you a lot, and we'll talk to you later.
All right, thank y'all.
Bye-bye.
Man, to start out in go-karts
in 13.
pretty much last year,
and then jump in a dirt late model.
Yeah.
Man, and finished 7th at Talladega, at the Talladega short track.
I mean, that's pretty cool.
You ain't kidding.
I mean, and then I wonder what Richard's seen in her. I mean, to just say, hey, we want to
That
develop her.
fast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
All right, our next guest is Anthony O'Brien.
Anthony is
a tire carrier on the 27. From RCR on the 27.
It's been around a while. I know that name. Well, maybe we'll have Anthony.
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 7.
Maybe not. Why does this happen to us? I mean, I don't understand. It seems like it just seems to be us that has this problem.
Man, don't put me in that. Maybe it's you. Well, you got a new phone, so I mean, that's not the problem.
No, and I talk to him on a regular basis.
He may not want everybody to know that.
Hello, Mr. O'Brien. Where are you?
To an automatic voice message.
That ain't him. All right, we'll give him a couple minutes and we'll try him again. But, of course, those of you who don't know who Anthony O'Brien is, he is the rear tire carrier for the 27. He's the one who had the real bad fire accident at Richmond.
Okay.
A few years.
The one you watched burn.
Yeah. That was, That
was a little scary, honestly.
And, he was talking about, I saw one time on one of his Facebook things, he was talking that he went from being a Xfinity tire carrier for RCR and Brendan Gaughan to almost losing his life to finishing the year up in the Cup in Cup, and on the 27 he said, I guess I'm having one of those where somebody's
Kyle Busch year. Right?
Look, somebody's looking over me.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting. I mean, and I got to know him when he was with the 51. He was he was in Hendrick then, doing Hendrick pit crews, and then he went over to the 78 for a little while, and so I got to know him really good there. He's really a cool guy. If he answers his phone, we'll find out.
Well, he might not. It don't sound like he's that cool. He's like, who's this guy that keeps calling me?
This is pretty interesting.
What?
Let me make sure I got that's the number I'm supposed to call.
A different number?
Nope. I thought it might be. Well, looks like we're missing out on Anthony here. So while we're waiting on Anthony, we ought to call Juicy Joe and get him on. Would Juicy Joe give us a call and tell us about your trip to Southampton Speedway? Don't talk about the other part, the crazy part. But I did get to hang around up at the arena races with Buck Reese. Got to listen to, to talk to him.
I got to work on Buck. I got to get us a champ kart race before that Denny Hamlin showdown. I'm working on you, Buck. Everybody's asking. I'm like, we got to talk Buck into it.
Well, I talked to him for a long time Saturday, and got some interesting information from him and things that he's got planned out.
I've got him hooked up with some stuff. I got the Zimmermans, and then when we were at the Zims Foundation, I think I can't say that, but there's a certain railroad company in the area that may come on board and do some stuff for the showdown and rent a few cars or so. So that'll be pretty cool. It's in the 25,000 ring.
Wow.
So Buck probably loves me, right?
Well, I spent a lot of time talking to him about how they go about doing things for the Hamlin Showdown. And he was telling me that how much when they come in, he comes in with his group, they run the race. Pretty much the track just turns it over to him.
Right, and that's why he said we couldn't run the champ carts. He said Bill ain't got nothing to do with that. And I was like, oh, so you're the one I need to butter up to.
But well, here we go.
Call from 704.
Hello, Mr. O'Brien. How you doing?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I was beginning to wonder what happened to you.
Oh, no, you're fine.
Well, look, you had
You're breaking up a little bit here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, you're down there in Statesville. They probably haven't got a good connection down there yet.
Okay. Well, I got full bars.
Well, you've had a very interesting year this year. Tell us a little bit about all the year you've had.
Well, I mean, it's been, pretty interesting. Like, I bought a house in January, and then I had that accident in Richmond, and then I came back to it, and then I got promoted to being a rear tire changer on the 27 there towards the end of the season, and I'll be on it for the next 2 years now.
That's pretty cool. I mean, the rear guys got to be a little faster than the front guys because they got to chase the car, right? So that means you're better.
Yeah, we're automatically behind.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't know that. I mean, the front tire carrier can be a little slower than the guys in the rear because they have more time allotted.
Yeah, the front tire changer, he just runs out in front of the car and then just plops down. He hits the slug nuts, I'm chasing down the car every single shot.
Right.
Well, Anthony, a lot of people don't know. I mean, you and I know each other from a while back where you were with the 51. But give everybody how you got started in the sport and what all you've done to get to the point you are today.
Well, I started out at Rick Markle Racing at the time. They had Kevin LePage and then Derek Cope's two nieces driving in the ARCA series. Amber and Angela, I think it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I started out there. Pretty much, I didn't get paid, pretty much next to nothing. But it was a deal, it's a low budget team, so that's, it's expected,
And scenery was nice.
I worked out all the time on my own, and then I'd practice all that I could. And I went from there to Germain Racing, and then from Germain to Hendrick for 2 years, and then I changed fronts on the 78 for Kurt Busch, and after that 1 year, I've been at RCR ever since.
Well,
what did you do prior to that? I mean, did you work on some cars on some local level, or what?
Well, when I was in high school, I took 2 full years of automotive. I took 2 years of welding. We had a really good welding class in Cambridge, Minnesota, back home, and we had a really great automotive class too. And I had college credits to go to, I think it's called Pine Technical College in Minnesota. But I decided, it was 2 months after I graduated, to move down to North Carolina because I wanted to be on a pit crew. Since I was in middle school, I wanted to do it. So.
And you knew you had to be in the Charlotte area to even get to even have the chance for that. So you probably beat some doors down like Lee did when he was coming along. He beat a lot of doors down trying to get in.
Yeah, I went to NTI, unfortunately, but it just happened to be the right location to be where all the race teams are.
Yeah.
So, and I'm a very talkative, social person, and I just ended up talking to the right person to get my foot in the door.
That's the experience that you had up at Richmond. I heard about it, and I wasn't there when it happened, but I heard about it and everything. Did you all ever find out what exactly happened there?
Yeah, we did. I can't say, but we did, yeah.
Oh, okay. I ain't gonna go there then. Well, I shouldn't even go in that direction. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. It's done. It's over. I'm here because God had planned for me to be here for something else. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here because one breath and I would not be here.
Yeah. You're a very talented guy as far as the pit crew. I used to watch you when you were pitting the 51 and all that during those times. I remember that. You were very talented. It's one of those things that how hard was it for you to go back to after that situation up there?
It was really hard, it was actually, it wasn't hard being back on the 62 car. It was actually hard just being back from my first stop, which is at Pocono, which was a cup race. So it wasn't even the fact that it was a 62 car or our fueler, because it wasn't his fault,
Mm-hmm, yeah.
It was just a freak accident, that happened. It's something mechanical, everything mechanical is going to fail. Your car breaks.
Right.
Just stuff like that.
That's why it's an accident.
Yep, exactly. So it was really tough, and I struggled, if I'd see some fuel on the ground, I'd kind of, go into maybe like a mild panic attack kind of deal, but, I made sure I finished out the stop and stuff. I just had to get comfortable again.
Now, how long were you away for?
I was actually only away for a month and a half. Believe it or not. It probably should have been a little bit longer, but yeah, it was just a month and a half. And, I still got to be sensitive. I can't be out in the sun without sunscreen till next April. So it's at least a full year, and then I'll know after that how much longer it'll have to be.
Now, how much burn did you get, and where was it at? Was it mostly in your face?
My face, my ear, my neck, and my right hand.
Now, you guys didn't wear the socks over your head and stuff, right? Which is mandated now?
No.
Okay.
No, we didn't.
So how often do you? I know you're at RCR. How often do you do pit stop practice up there, or are you involved with anything else that goes on up there?
I work in the shop. I do some finish fab stuff during the weekdays.
Oh, okay.
And then we do pit practice during the day. It's probably 3 times a week, 4 times a week. During the beginning, it's usually more. During the beginning of the season, but towards the end of the season, we lay off of practices just because, our season is so much longer than any other professional sport.
Right.
If you think about it, the middle of February all the way to the end of November, pretty much. So the practices, towards the end there, you don't practice as much just to maintain your body.
So are you up in the Cup shop, or are you down in the Xfinity shop?
No, I work in the Xfinity South shop. Well, I guess I work between both, the South and the North shop, Xfinity, because we do finish fab, so we do finish fab on all 4 cars.
Well,
I'm 33 and 3 in the 62.
Well, I know I'm glad you get to work around a good guy like Stockman, but I'm sorry you have to be around Nick Harrison. I know he's there.
I talk to Nick and give him crap all the time. He's a good dude.
Yeah, well, I do too. Every time I'm around him, I give him a lot of crap too. But
he's probably used to it.
Yeah. But anyway, well, we wanted to get you on here just to see how you were doing. I know I've been trying to get a hold of you and everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that too.
That's no problem.
I'm glad I give you a call back.
Well, I'm glad everything's going well. Hopefully, we'll see you at the racetrack this year.
Yeah.
You will.
And congratulations on being on the 27 for next year.
Yeah,
that's
you guys
gonna be cool.
made the chase.
And it looks like
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Looks like you got a good team.
Hard work.
Got a good team over there. I think you got a chance to do some great things. So hopefully everything will go good next year.
Yep, you and me both.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate your time tonight. We'll let you get back to whatever you were doing, and thank you for the little bit of time you gave us. And we'll get back with you again when the season starts next year.
Yes, sir. You guys have a good night, and I'll talk to you here in a couple months.
All right. Well, you have a good Christmas, man. We'll talk to you later.
Thanks,
You
Anthony.
too. Merry Christmas to you too.
He did have a scary moment there.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no doubt.
And
I mean, we were there. We didn't see that happen. But we know, since then they have mandated all the crew members go over the wall, wear underwear that's fire retardant, not underwear, but undergarments that some of the drivers wear. I don't know if they're mandated. They may be now.
what's that? The drivers?
Yeah.
Yeah, the drivers have to have it. I don't think they have to wear. I don't think it's mandated the socks though.
Yeah.
Or with the head sock. I don't think
there's
that's
only a few guys I see wear it. I know Kyle Busch wears one, and a lot of the other guys don't.
But Lee and them, if you have a chance to go across the wall, you have to have all this stuff. And he's got the same stuff in case he has to go across the wall. And from a couple of guys that I've talked to, man, that's a hot thing to have to deal with in the summertime when you got all that stuff.
I imagine then you have the sock on too, and that just kind of retains a lot of heat. The suits sometimes are not that bad.
Well, our next guest, and this ought to be really good. Our next guest is Billy Ballou. Used to be a truck team owner, and used to have Kyle Busch drive for him. And he's got some ties to the Snowball Derby this past weekend. So I wanted to get him and see what all he's got going on. This is going to be good, I think.
Yeah, Billy's opinionated.
He's never been one to hold back on what he feels is the problem. He's a good guy, though.
Surprised he got out of the trucks, to be honest.
Hello.
How you doing, Mr. Ballou? This is Jack Dodson and Scott Allen with Jack Dodsons Insider Racing. How's it going?
Y'all going great. How are you guys doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing pretty decent. It's getting kind of cool up here, so we're doing all right.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Well, I wanted to talk with you about the Snowball Derby. I know you were there.
If you can imagine that.
I know you were down there, and I know that was it was some stuff going on down there that maybe you can give us a little insight on what all was taking place down there.
Well, I really don't know. It seems like it's quite typical. It's pretty, situation that I was with, that I was down there with James. We were down hanging out there all weekend, and James Finch, my buddy, was sponsoring Christopher Bell, which is one heck of a driver there, and he was helping Chase Elliott too. And they're both, great racers and great guys, but the tech department wasn't too kind on the 51 car this weekend. I believe we, had some situations where we got DQ'd more than I think we won everything there except for the trophy at the end.
I can imagine how Mr. Finch was with all that, because I'm sure he wasn't very happy either, was he?
No, I don't think he was. He was really too fond of it. But, over the years, I've saw that situation before. I mean, just as long as I raced, and when my crew chief at that time, Richie Waters, would go down there, it's not the first time we've been in the penalty box, so I guess we're quite accustomed to it now.
So I know it was a fun weekend to be hanging around with James and everybody down there at the Snowball, because I really want to get down there one time and see that.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a wonderful time. I took my son with me, so he'd never been. So it was wonderful. We went down and stayed there all day Saturday and had to come back Sunday prior to the race starting. He had to be in school on Monday, but it was a very eventful Saturday, I will tell you that.
Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine it was. So do you miss the racing game as far as being back in the truck series and everything? Do you miss that?
Well, I don't miss fighting at checkbook on Monday morning, but I talk to people in the industry, and I talk to Mitchie, which is trying to do a lot of different things there, from the truck series to the super late model, about every day, and me and James stay in touch, even though neither one of us are racing cars on the track. But to be honest with you, there hadn't a lot changed, other than I don't have to fight the checkbook, and I can enjoy it better, when I do know. But it's a situation to where my priorities in life changed a lot. My son's living with me full time, and he's a senior in high school, so that's where my goals are at now until he gets in college. And this, I'll never say never do it again, but if it was the right circumstance, I would love to go back and do it.
But I was down at Charlotte and looking around when you and Mr. Finch went out of the sport. It took a lot to me. It took a little bit of the luster away from it as far as the way the sport goes. I mean, you guys were really heavy into it, and I think the sport misses the guys like you in the sport.
Well, I'm sure we define our odds, because from the time that I started in the truck series, I mean, I'm fortunate enough to have done it for 15 years, and basically with, I think if we had the nicest and the competitive stuff that was out there, and had some great drivers and a great team during that time period, and accomplished a lot doing it. And, James had done it for a long time also, and been successful. And Jack, I know your son there. He's a great guy, and he worked down there with James for a long amount of time. And there's a lot of talent that come out of that shop. The one I had in Charlotte and the one he had in Spartanburg that have went, on to bigger organizations. But I'm not sure that the loyalty was any more than it was at either my place or at his place.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you on that.
Yeah, I agree too, and I mentioned this to Nick when we had him on the show a couple weeks ago, that the guys that and you were involved with a truck race with them at one time down in Atlanta, and I was there, but the guys that were in Finch's shop, and I'm sure there was plenty of guys in your shop the same way, that when they went on, I was looking at it. There's Nick and Lee and Andrew and all these guys that were at Finch have gone on to other teams, and they're very successful, and they cut their teeth with you guys.
Yeah, and that's gotta make me feel proud, and I'm sure it does James too, because they're a lot younger than we are, and to give them opportunities. Matter of fact, Nick worked with me when he was right out of high school. I was truck stop when we ran Stedman Marlin for Sterling years ago, back probably 97, 98.
Yeah.
By that truck series started, and then Tony Gibson, one of my very good friends, and Mark, I started in the asphalt stuff with, and we all know Tony's a crew chief over at Stuart Haas there for Kurt Busch, and me and Tom Busch, we talk 2 or 3 times a week, and I text, Kyle back and forth and stay in touch with all those guys. So it's not like, I'm not there anymore, but to be honest, I probably communicate with a lot of them more since I'm not so busy there than I did when I was 5 miles up the road.
Well,
it's really, it was really a great experience, and I wouldn't take anything for it. It's just, sometimes in life, your priorities change, and I've accomplished about all based on what we did against all odds. And of course, we all know that Kyle Busch was a big part of that when he was just 18 years old, when he ran the first truck race at Charlotte, and he won Charlotte and Dover back to back. The first 2 weeks he drove in our equipment, and Shane Mill had won previously from at Las Vegas the year before, and DEI really helped us a lot during that time period when Steve Mill was over there, and it was more of a family type deal with us having probably 8 or 9 8 full-time employees, from people like Toucan, Jim Murray, that is semi-retired now, but still goes to the racetrack with Richie Sermon. Tommy Bowles, that's the godfather for Kurt and Kyle, that's worked for me for 5 or 6 years in the shop as a fabricator when he came from Vegas. So it was more of a family type deal. I was just one of the guys fortunate enough to have my name on the sign out front, but also came with that I had to fight that checkbook. I would take the thing for it, and we really made a spot. We did some stuff that was pretty remarkable in 2006, or yes, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And even when Kyle started his truck deal, and I had the opportunity to sell my deal to the guys from Vision Airlines, that they didn't have any experience at that type of racing, and they didn't last that long. But I did have the opportunity, I feel like, to help Eric Almirola out there, because he was kind of in between rides and everything. And he did a great job, and I think it helped Eric when we won the 2 truck races in 2010 and finished second in the points. That was pretty remarkable after Kyle started his own operation.
I don't know if you're aware of it or if Lee or anybody said anything, but I really appreciate, we came to your shop when Lee first graduated high school. We came down to your shop, and you spent about 20 minutes with Lee talking to him and telling him about the sport and everything there at your shop. And I really appreciate you taking that time out. And it's people like you and James Finch that have made a mark on him to be where he's at today with Jeff. Well, he was with Jeff Gordon this year, but to be over at Hendrick, I really appreciate that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And he's a great guy, and he's achieved a lot, and the sky's the limit for him and Nick and all those guys that were at James's, and also the guys that we had up on the truck deal, that I still like to talk to all the time, and it's just remarkable. I know when in Talladega, I guess it was in 2009, was my 300th truck start, I remember. Mm-hmm. And we finished first and second. Eric pushed Kyle to the win there. So that was a day, like in highlights, that it makes it all enjoyable. But people really got confused sometimes. So they would call a race shop, and I would answer the phone because I didn't have a secretary. So I was answering the phone, and they said, "Well, can I speak to Mr. Blue?" I said, "Well, you're talking to Billy. If I can help you with something, yes, you've got him." And it blew some people away. So, I never had to worry about what was going on in the shop. Our format was down with great people that did a tremendous job with the resources we had to work with. And we all did it as a family, whether it was, I was just one of the guys. It was like I went to a lot of times I would go to Atlanta. They would get on the flights from Charlotte to go, like on the race day flight.
Yeah.
I'd drive from Blairsville, Georgia, because I was home with my son for 2 days, to the airport in Atlanta and catch a commercial flight. We always stayed in the same hotels. There's definitely wasn't any budget for any motorhomes or jets.
Yeah.
And I love it. And if I was doing it again today, I wouldn't change any of that. I really wouldn't.
Well,
it's a great industry, and it is a great sport, and you have to give most of the devotion of what you're doing in your life in order to have the opportunity to do that. Whether you succeed at it or not, you still have to give the effort, and that is one of the reasons, with the success we'd had with Kyle, that's one of the reasons that I chose when the opportunity came up when he started his truck deal, and I proved that we could still run competitively by ending up second in the points, and it helped stair-step Eric, and I didn't really want to quit, but I needed to spend more time with my son, and him living in Georgia than I could being in Mooresville, and as much as it was time consumption.
Yeah.
So my first priority is my son, just as I'm sure that, you know, Lee is to you, and that's the situation that it all came down to. Other than, you know, the sponsorship money was definitely an issue, but I'd always overcome that some way in the 15 years. So it was, you know, do I miss it every day? Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I tell you, I was down there with you, and when Kurt drove your truck at Atlanta, you had Finch over there helping you with that, and that was a big deal. I really enjoyed that. You really had a good group working for you then.
Oh my goodness, we had everybody from Nashville that Nick grew up with, and everybody that Lee knew, and everybody in the whole world that you can imagine working on the thing and running back and forth to the cup garage. And you know, that truck is the one that had won a ton of races. That was Kyle's favorite truck, and that was a truck that I'd ended up with, you know, that I'd kept after that I sold my stuff. And we changed it from, it was the oldest truck and had the most wins of anything we had. So me and James were talking, and I had the stuff stored down, had it down at his building, and I said, we ought to run that truck race in Atlanta. We've won it 4 times and in the past. So we changed it to a Chevrolet, and James got us the engine, and it was all the Phoenix guys, you know, that was doing it. Now, I mean, it was really, really cool, especially being, you know, in my hometown there, and where I'd had so much success.
It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that whole weekend. That was really great. Well, Billy, we're going to let you go and get back to what you were doing. We appreciate you spending some time with us tonight. It's really great to have you on. You've always been one of my favorite people in the sport, so I have to get you on here ever so often.
Absolutely. I really appreciate y'all having me, guys.
Well, we appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get to see you around the track some this year.
Oh, absolutely. Look forward to it.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
He is a genuine guy. I don't know him. I've heard a lot about him. But, man, you know, we could have a long show with Billy. I mean, he's had some big names drive for him.
What I would like to do, and I admitted to him one day when we were talking this past week, and I would like to get him and James on about if there was a way I could work it out to get them both at the same time. And I've talked to James, and I don't know if he's going to free his schedule up to where he can do it. But I would love to get him on here. I'd love to get, because I have heard, and I was not in on any of this. But some of the
Sherry,
some of the stories I have heard about James and Billy together, and some of the things they did, and Lee has told me some stuff, and you know, that was when it was fun. Those guys didn't. It
was a good time.
They were having fun time.
There's no doubt. But I mean, name some of the people that drove for Billy. Sterling Marley. I didn't realize Sterling drove for him.
Sterling.
Did Jimmy Spencer drive for him?
One time.
I can say I thought he did. I mean, Kurt Busch,
Kyle Busch, Eric Amarola, Shane Meal, Richie Waters had. I mean, he had a couple of guys that he brought over there to drive for him.
I mean, he's had a lot of people drive for him, and it's been successful. I would love to hear. I wanted to, but I know we're running out of time to hear the story, how him and Kyle actually. You know, because there's always saying, I used to talk about when Kyle was winning all those races in his truck that he wasn't getting paid. And I wonder how that came about, how that started. That'd be a neat story of, you know, that Kyle didn't get a check as long as Billy put enough money in the truck to make sure it was competitive. That was supposedly their deal. I wonder what the deal.
But and I may be talking out of school, and I'm somehow thinking he was under contract. Kyle was under contract to something. It might have been Hendrick. I don't know. He was under contract to somebody. And the deal was they paid him, but he didn't get paid anything from the racing because that was Billy's. But that was to get him time on the track. But I may be wrong on how that broke down. But anyway.
But I'm just curious how that started, because it was a great marriage with those guys.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't realize he sold the team. For some reason, I thought Kyle was supposed to end up with the team in the end, and I guess he didn't.
Well,
and he got out at a good time, to be honest.
He sold the team to Visionaire, which Eric Amarola was very much involved in at the time.
Okay.
So I think they kind of took it over. Richie Waters was involved in that, which was part of the. And now the shop where Richie Waters is in Charlotte is Billy Ballew's old shop.
Okay.
So I mean it all stayed in the same building, but I think the people that owned it just went in separate situations.
It's hard for somebody to just come in with money or some resources and they think they can just pay some people and it's going to take off. I mean, probably 15 years ago, probably good, because if you had a team, I mean, sponsors were knocking down your door, and it's totally different now.
Well, and the thing about it, he mentioned about him and James, like a family, they kind of work together. If you notice that when Kyle was driving that truck, Mikasuki was on the truck.
And see, I didn't realize that. I knew they were, but I didn't.
And Mikasuki was on all of James's vehicles. Okay, so all that came together. From what I understand, James pushed it down to Billy for Mikasuki to be a part of that thing there. And the chief of the Mikasuki tribe down there in Florida was real tight with Billy Ballew and James Finch.
Yeah, so, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
So they kind of worked together.
I forget what happened. Did the chief
the chief got voted out? They voted in a new chief, and that's when Mikasuki backed out.
Right. Well, they weren't interested in spending.
No, they weren't interested in it because James wanted Mikasuki to stay with him, and they didn't. They backed out. As a matter of fact, when Bill Elliott signed to drive for James for them to start that season off, Lee's his first year in the Cup with the Cup car, they showed up to Daytona, because I was there. They showed up to Daytona with Mikasuki colors, but no Mikasuki thing on it.
Because they didn't know.
But then the day before the race, James got a sponsor from somewhere else to come in, a security benefit. And if you look at the We Think a Teacher program that was on a lot of that is the same Mikasuki colors as the Mikasuki tribe. That's
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Anyway, well, it was a pretty good show tonight, even though we got a little bit behind, but we got through it. We made it through without Joe, but we missed Joe. Not much, but we missed him. But I know Lisa's out in Louisville watching. She probably missed him more than we did.
For separate reasons.
But we really didn't miss him. We miss him being here, but I don't know how to put it.
My cousin put it good. He was getting married, and he's like, I love that girl, but I don't really like her that much. That's true. We like the guy, but we don't really like him that much.
Joe is like, I've noticed that a lot of people feel that way about Joe. Like Camden said here, we like him off the track. We don't like
He's okay away from the racetrack.
Yeah. And we get him away from the racetrack. We ain't too fond of him.
But I mean, y'all were taking selfies there at Arena Racing this weekend.
We did take one. We did take one, and I was trying to tell Joe something, and the next thing I know, he's taking it. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed being with Joe up at the arena races.
So go check out arenaracingusa.com. They have a great schedule. It's a fun series. It's great for $10 or $15 to get you a reserve seat and watch 2.5 hours of cars wrecking and flipping over. And
I was home the other day before 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, because the race started at 2.
So I was back home early.
And I want to thank Johnny Rockets for still allowing me to go up there and sit in their suite and use their stuff.
Yeah, I wish you'd been there last week. 'Cause I was trying to think about a way to do that too, but there was nobody there, and I was thinking, I wonder if they'd say anything.
Although it was kind of sad. I went over and I said, at least I could go over there and get something to eat. And I went over to Johnny Rockins, got something to eat, and I got my food. And the woman running the register, she's like, kept looking at the owner and kept looking at me like, do I charge him? Or I was like, I'm not on the free plan anymore. She's like, oh, okay. So
now you have to pay. But they do let you go sit in the booth, so you know.
Yeah, and it's got free drinks and popcorns in there, and it's got water, so.
Well,
and it's got a private bathroom.
I was kind of getting thirsty there at one time the other day, and I said, I just thought to walk right up here and get one.
But you can't. Well, you can go up there and get some drinks, but you can't really take a bunch of pictures and stuff from the suite. So I ended up back there on the side of the racetrack, and
that's what I did.
And it's
too.
fun down there to watch and see what's going on and take pictures
and hopefully we'll before too much longer we're going to get Cody on here. I talked to Cody. Hopefully we'll get him on here maybe next week. Don't know what he's got planned, but
I wonder if this is getting boring for him.
Well, I heard that Ricky has talked about changing it to the Carlton series, and he was, I don't know.
I mean, the season he had last year, and he could have won a few more. He won 16 out of 20 races, and he could have won a few more, legitimately. And he's kind of starting off, and I could see very similar. He can win almost every race this year unless he gets in a wreck or unless Robbie Allison runs into him again. But, after a while, that's got to get old.
Yeah, well,
Well, that's not a bad problem to have, but it gets. Maybe old. It gets boring.
And I think it was Cullen. It's his teammate Cullen. Mm-hmm. Cullen Roberts. Cullen had you ought to seen Cullen's.
The car, yeah.
The wrap on his car, that was really, really good. I like that. Buck Reese wrapped the car for him.
VCU Art, if I'm right. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
It, yeah. Mm-hmm. And so that was, there's still some good competition out there. I'd like to get Connor Medeiros on here. I understand he's been doing a lot of different stuff, and he's working for one of the race teams or going down to work for a race team or something soon, or
that I don't know. I know he had been helping the K&N car. I can see the kid Shane Hunt. Sam Hunt. He was working with that team some, and then this summer he helped a lot with Tommy Jackson Jr. and Andy Graham on their Legends car. I traveled with him a lot and helped those guys a lot. His cousin is Gray Galding. I'm surprised he hasn't went down and maybe tried to work with them, being he has some type of in. But Connor's a good kid. He's a little smart ass, but I like that about Connor. He is a smart ass.
I noticed Mark Roberts, and I hope he's watching. Mark Roberts actually looked like he was working. He didn't look like he was just kind of standing around. He was actually moving back. And John Medeiros, I saw him actually working.
Well, you might not see John do a whole lot of work. They got a lot of friends and family come over and help those guys. John's a great guy. I like John. Mark does some work. I will say, man, I can't tell you how many times when I drove for Mark in the Champ Karts that we worked at night a lot. A lot. A lot of nights. Mark's not scared of work for by no means. And he's usually in the back when you're out there. He's usually working.
Okay, well, I was just kind of amazed, I actually saw Joe Staples do something. That's, other than standing in the corner and telling people, don't go out there and don't do this.
Did they send him up onto the spotter stand?
No, he didn't go on the spotter stand. He was on the track.
Oh.
He was down on the track.
That can be a little dangerous.
Yeah, there was a couple times there. They kind of knocked the wall down a couple times. But anyway, it was good racing. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it. Hopefully, I'll get back up there real soon. I don't think I'm gonna be able to make it this weekend, but
so go check out Arena Racing, and next week we'll probably find somebody from Arena to come on.
I know I've already talked to Cody, and I know he is
He's interested in coming.
Yeah,
he's big time now.
Yeah, I know, and I want to get on his schedule. I'm going to be on the Champions Tour.
Defending champ.
But we won't have Robbie on at the same time, so we'll,
I was wondering if they had a conversation.
I don't know, but I think Robbie has found out, and I hope I'm not talking again out of school, but I think Robbie has found out them damn arena cars ain't as easy as he thought it was going to be.
Well, what did he say? He said he still couldn't breathe. He couldn't take a deep breath when we talked to him on Tuesday last week.
Well, it was funny, and he made his little joke that you set me up on as I was leaving the other day, and I turned with a whole bunch of people standing. I said, "Boy, do you want to race here anymore?" And he looked at me and he said, "No, I don't really know." So I don't
He's
know.
actually pretty funny. I really enjoyed having him on, and I would like to maybe talk to him and get him on a few more times throughout the year because he has a really interesting story. He has a different way of coming into the sport, and I think to me it's an interesting story.
And he and I were sitting and talking the other day, and he has got a schedule that he's planning on running this year. That's going to be really. It's going to be. He's going to try to run on Friday nights at Southside in a Charger and a limited late model. And then he's going to be running some down south and somewhere down in Florida or somewhere.
I know he's supposed to be testing an ARCA car this coming year. I don't know if he's going to run one, but he's supposed to be testing one a few times.
But he's going to run down there one weekend a month. He's going to California to run a car out in California one weekend a month.
Good gracious.
So he's going to be every weekend he's going to be in a different place racing.
In a different car.
In a different type of car. He's trying to get, and like he told me, he says, I'm trying to catch up.
Right. And that's what I was just going to say. He's trying to cram as much as he can. It's like trying to cram for a test. He's just trying to cram all he can because he's starting late. Mm-hmm. I mean, 20 years ago that would be prime. But today, in today's standards, if you don't make it to Cup by 18, you don't get an opportunity.
But he's down.
There's Harry Gantz to come along. Don't come. Harry Gant got his first cut time in Cup at 50 or 55.
No, it was earlier than that. It was in the 40s.
It won't much.
Yeah. Because he did a lot of what now is Xfinity. He did a lot of that first.
Well, that's true. Well, Cup ride, but either way.
But Robbie he's down in New Smyrna today testing a super late model down there, and hopefully we'll find out how that goes. He said he's going to let me know, but that was he's got a lot to do in a very short time, and he's trying to race and get in the seat as much as he can. I think he's thinking about this arena thing. Especially when the tire went down on him the other day. And that was the first thing, and then he got in the race and he got spun out, and it was when it was over with. I'm still learning this thing here. It's unbelievable.
It can be a frustrating sport, which any sport can be.
Anyway, well, we appreciate you being with us tonight. We will be back again next week.
And
Same place.
Maybe Juicy will be here.
Well, if Juicy's here, Juicy's here. He may
Juicy Joe.
He may
JJ.
He may go to Louisville. Who knows? He ain't no telling.
Well, hopefully he'll have a job by then.
And do not go to his Facebook page.
Click like and share the video. and furthermore, like our videos, please. Share them. Comment. Tell us what you think. We appreciate you watching our shows.
All right. We'll see you next